you are satisfied with the fit of your glass pieces, the next step is to put copper foil on them. As you can see, copper foil comes with 3 different colored backing. The front is always copper because that's what you solder on. The back comes in either silver, black, or copper color. And the only time this really matters is if you are working with transparent glass. I've tried to put these on unevenly so that you can see through the glass to see what the back color of it is. So if you are putting black patina on your copper after you're done soldering, and you see through to the back side of the copper foil, and it's black and the front side is black, then it all blends together. So you just have to match the copper foil backing you choose with the type of patina you're choosing to use. Here's an example that copper foil comes in different widths. The most commonly used, I believe, is 7/32. I didn't care which backing of copper foil I chose for this project because my glass is opaque. So the back of the copper foil won't show through, so it didn't matter. I have placed copper foil around the outside edge of this piece. I'm taking a FID. You can use a marker, a back of a spoon, anything that's flat and smooth to get the edges pushed down smoothly. If you have bumpy copper foil, you're going to have bumpy solder lines. If you have a rip in your copper foil, you need to remedy that. You can do that just by placing another piece of copper foil over top of it, because if there's a rip in the copper foil, there's going to appear to be a rip in your solder lines. So making this smooth is real important for your end soldering project. You try to get, as much as possible, your copper foil even on this side as it is this side. That is a little bit tricky to do, and it's also probably going to be tricky for me to film. But I kind of look about 2 inches at a time as I'm placing it on the edge of my copper foil to try to make sure I am lined up in the center of the copper foil with my piece of glass. Because I am putting tape on the edges of this glass, I want to make sure that the powder from grinding is off the edges. I want to make sure it is dry. Tape doesn't stick to powder, and it doesn't stick to wet. So dry off the edges, clean up the edges with a dry towel. I like to pre-measure how much copper foil I'm going to need to wrap a piece prior to wrapping it, just so that I have less tangles in my copper foil. So that's approximately how long I'll need it, so I just rip it off. Then I have to take the backing off, which is a trick if you don't have some amount of fingernails. It's also a trick if you have fake fingernails because they're too fat. And then you just try to start lining that up in the middle. So I look at both sides to make sure it's in the middle. Then I start wrapping, and about every couple inches or so I compare. Does it look like it's in the middle? I think so, so I'll keep going. Now it's on the outside edge, so then I just gently with my warm fingers start pushing it down. Different people have their own opinion about this step, whether they use their fingers or a tool. The important thing is that it's smooth in the end and that you don't rip it. When you're bending it around an inside corner, do it slow, and the warmth of your fingers will help it stretch a little bit. Now you can see that it's really bumpy. So now is the step where I use some kind of smooth surface, like a fid. This is called a fid, or the edge of a marker, or whatever, and smooth it out. As I'm smoothing it out, I can tell with my finger that where it's still rough and where it needs smoothed out some more. That's a little rough right there, so I need to smooth that out some more. There are my fingers catching too, so I need to smooth that out some more. Another trick to getting your solder lines looking smooth and even. See where my one end of the copper foil met with the other end and how there's a jagged corner there. You don't want your solder line to look like a jagged corner. So take an X-Acto knife and just smooth out that difference. Cut it off. So now we can have a better solder line. The second video was just copper foil and an X-Acto knife.